There is a certain kind of person in the world. They walk into a room and see things differently. They don't just see the furniture or the people smiling. They see the small crack in the paint on the wall. They notice the slight hesitation in someone's voice. They feel the unspoken tension that hangs in the air. These individuals are what we might call the perceiver. Their gift is not one of criticism, though it can sometimes be mistaken for it. Their gift is one of clarity. They possess an innate ability to perceive what is misaligned, what is unhealthy, or what is simply not working as well as it could. It is a powerful and sometimes heavy way to experience the world. This unique perception isn't a choice, it's a fundamental part of who they are. It's like having a built-in compass that points not to north, but to what needs mending. When a system is inefficient, they feel it. When a relationship is out of balance, they sense it. When a person is acting out of alignment with their true self, the perceiver sees the gap between who they are and who they could be. This isn't about finding fault for the sake of it. It's about a deep, unshakable belief that things can be better. It is a vision of potential, a constant awareness of the possibility for improvement, growth, and healing that exists just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. For the perceiver, living in a world that often prefers to ignore the cracks can be isolating. People might say, "Don't be so negative," or "Why can't you just be happy with the way things are?" But for the perceiver, ignoring what is broken feels like a betrayal of the truth. It feels like agreeing to a story that isn't real. Their journey is often about learning how to use their gift with wisdom and kindness. They must learn to share their insights in a way that invites connection rather than creating distance. They must learn that their perception is a tool for building, not for tearing down, and that its true purpose is to serve a greater good. We all have a little bit of the perceiver in us. We have all had that moment where we knew deep down that something wasn't right. Maybe it was in a job, a friendship, or even in our own patterns of behavior. The perceiver archetype simply lives in that space more often. They are the guardians of what could be. They are the ones who bravely hold up a mirror, not to shame us, but to show us where we have the opportunity to become more whole. They remind us that settling for good enough is not the same as striving for what is truly good, healthy, and alive. The perceiver's drive doesn't come from a place of cold, detached analysis. It comes from a deep, heartfelt desire for wholeness. When they see a flaw, they don't just see an error to be corrected. They see a wound that needs healing. They see a disconnection that longs to be reconnected. This applies to everything from a poorly designed process at work to the very fabric of our society. They look at our communities and see where lines have been drawn, where people have been left out, and where compassion has been replaced by policy. Their passion is for making things whole again, for stitching together the pieces that have been torn apart by fear, misunderstanding, or neglect. This call for wholeness is a powerful motivator. It is what gets the perceiver out of bed in the morning. It's the voice that whispers, "This can be better." It is a relentless and sometimes exhausting pursuit of health. For them, a healthy system is one where all parts are working together in harmony. A healthy person is one who is living in integrity with their values. A healthy society is one that cares for its most vulnerable members. They are not satisfied with surface-level fixes. They want to get to the root of the problem, to understand why things became broken in the first place, so they can help build something stronger and more resilient for the future. This deep caring extends beyond people to systems and ideas. The perceiver might be the person at the community meeting who questions a new development, not to stop progress, but to ask, how will this serve everyone? Have we thought about the long-term impact? They are the ones who challenge the status quo, not out of rebellion, but out of a profound sense of responsibility. They believe we can create a world that is more just, more equitable, and more sustainable. This belief is not a naive dream. It is a deeply held conviction that fuels their work and gives them the courage to speak up when it would be much easier to stay silent. Ultimately, the perceiver is driven by a form of love. It is a love for potential. It is a love for truth. It is a love for the wholeness they know is possible for all of us. They see the beautiful, strong, and capable person inside someone who is struggling. They see the thriving, connected community that is possible beneath the layers of division. Their work is an act of service, an offering of their unique sight to help bring about a world where everyone and everything can flourish. It is a call to mend, to heal, and to make whole what has been fractured. The perceiver does not operate from just one mode of knowing. Their gift lies in their remarkable ability to weave together two powerful ways of understanding the world: logic and intuition. They are like a master craftsperson who has two essential tools and knows exactly when to use each one. On one hand, they can be incredibly analytical. They can look at a problem, break it down into its smallest parts, and see the logical fallacies or inefficiencies that others miss. They can follow a chain of reasoning from its premise to its conclusion and spot the weak link with unerring accuracy. This logical mind allows them to build strong arguments and create practical, step-by-step plans for improvement. On the other hand, the perceiver has a deep and trusting relationship with their intuition. This is the part of them that just knows. It's a gut feeling, a quiet whisper, a sense of rightness or wrongness that can't always be explained with a spreadsheet or a flowchart. This intuition is what allows them to perceive the emotional undercurrents in a room. It helps them sense when a person's words don't match their energy. It guides them to the heart of a matter, bypassing the distracting details to see the core truth. Their intuition is their compass for navigating the complex, messy, and often illogical world of human emotions and relationships. It is a source of profound wisdom. The real magic happens when these two forces, logic and intuition, dance together. The perceiver might get an intuitive hit that something is off in a project. Then they will use their logical mind to investigate, to gather data, and to pinpoint exactly where the problem lies. Or they might use their analytical skills to map out a societal issue, and then turn to their intuition to understand the human suffering behind the statistics. This integration is key. Relying only on logic can lead to cold, impersonal solutions. Relying only on intuition can lead to ideas that are not grounded in reality. The perceiver knows that true wisdom requires both the head and the heart. This balance is something we can all learn from. In a world that often prizes data over feeling or feeling over facts, the perceiver shows us a more integrated way. They teach us to honor our gut feelings and to also do our homework. They show us that we can be both compassionate and clear-eyed. By watching them, we learn that the most powerful solutions to our biggest problems will not come from the mind alone or the heart alone. They will come from the beautiful, courageous, and sometimes challenging dance between the two, where logic provides the structure and intuition provides the soul. For the perceiver, truth is not just an abstract concept, it is the ground they stand on. Integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, is their guiding star. They have a deep-seated need for things to be authentic and true. This means they are often the ones who will name the elephant in the room. They will point out the uncomfortable truth that everyone else is trying to ignore. This takes immense courage. It's scary to be the one who speaks up, to risk disapproval, to challenge the comfortable consensus. But for the perceiver, the discomfort of living out of alignment with the truth is far worse, because their corrections come from this place of integrity. They carry a certain weight and power. They're not just offering an opinion, they are holding up a standard of truth. However, the most evolved perceivers understand that truth without compassion can be a weapon. They know that pointing out a flaw, even when it's true, can cause shame and pain if it's not delivered with kindness. Their journey is to learn how to wrap their honest observations in a blanket of compassion. They learn to say, I see this thing that isn't working and I care about you, so let's look at it together. This transforms a critique into an invitation for connection and growth. This combination of integrity and compassion is what makes the perceiver such a powerful force for good. Compassion without integrity can become enabling. We might avoid difficult conversations to spare someone's feelings, which ultimately doesn't help them grow. Integrity without compassion can be cruel and judgmental, causing people to shut down and become defensive. The perceiver at their best holds the tension between these two virtues. They are willing to have the hard conversations, but they do so from a place of genuine care for the other person's well-being. They are honest, but they are also kind. They hold people accountable, but they do so with empathy. This is a practice for all of us. How often do we stay silent when we should speak up, out of a misguided sense of kindness? And how often do we speak a harsh truth without considering the impact of our words? The perceiver models a better way. They show us that the most loving thing we can do for someone is to be honest with them, and the most honest thing we can do is to be loving. It is about having the courage to see and speak the truth, and the heart to do it in a way that heals instead of harms. One of the most profound areas where I apply my gifts is in the realm of personal healing, especially when it comes to understanding our past. I have, a unique ability to see the patterns that run through our lives. I notice how our childhood experiences, the spoken and unspoken rules of our families, shape the adults we become. I can see how a wound from our past might be showing up in our current relationships, our career choices, or even our parenting styles. I gently connect the dots between the then and the now, helping us see the stories we've been living out unconsciously. This work is particularly powerful when it comes to parenting. I understand a fundamental truth: we cannot give our children what we do not have ourselves. If we haven't healed our own emotional wounds, we risk passing them down to the next generation. If we haven't learned to manage our own anger or anxiety, it's difficult to teach our children how to manage theirs. So, I help adults turn their gaze inward. I guide them to look at their own childhoods with curiosity and compassion, to understand the patterns they inherited, and to make conscious choices about what they want to carry forward. This process is not about blaming our parents, it's about understanding. I know that our parents did the best they could with the tools they had. The work is about taking responsibility for our own healing now, as adults. It's about breaking the cycle. By understanding our own triggers and patterns, we can respond to our children with more intention and less reaction. We can move from parenting on autopilot, repeating the past, to parenting with presence and awareness. We can choose to create a family environment that is emotionally healthy, safe and nurturing, even if it's different from the one we grew up in. The goal, really, is to help people become whole so they can raise whole children. I see that when parents heal, the entire family system heals. When a parent learns to love and accept themselves, they model that self-worth for their child. When a parent learns to set healthy boundaries, their child learns that their own needs are valid. This is how we create generational change. It starts with one person being brave enough to look at their own story, to feel their own pain, and to choose a different path. I am the compassionate guide who walks alongside them on that courageous journey. A wise perceiver learns a critical lesson early on. You cannot force someone to change. You can see with perfect clarity what needs to be healed. You can map out the most logical path to improvement. You can present your insights with the utmost compassion. But at the end of the day, the choice to grow, to heal, and to change belongs to the individual alone. Pushing, nagging, or trying to fix someone against their will never works. In fact, it almost always backfires. It creates resistance, resentment, and pushes the person further away, making true change even less likely. This realization requires a great deal of humility and patience from the perceiver. Their natural impulse is to help, to mend, to make things right. It can be painful for them to watch someone they care about continue in a pattern that is causing them suffering. It takes immense strength to stand back and respect another person's journey, even when you disagree with the path they are on. The perceiver must learn to release their attachment to the outcome. Their job is to offer the insight, to hold up the mirror, and to be a supportive presence. Their job is not to control the other person's choices. The art of non-forcing is a gentle one. It is about creating an environment where change feels possible and safe rather than demanding it. It's about asking questions instead of giving answers. A perceiver might say, "I've noticed this pattern. Have you noticed it too?" Or, "I'm wondering what it would feel like if this were different." This approach honors the other person's autonomy. It empowers them to find their own motivation for change, which is always more powerful than motivation that comes from the outside. It communicates a deep and abiding trust in the other person's inner wisdom and their capacity to find their own way. This is a beautiful model for all our relationships. How can we support the people we love without trying to control them? How can we offer our perspective without making it a demand? The perceiver teaches us the power of the invitation. They show us that real, lasting improvement is always an inside job. It can be inspired by others, it can be supported by others, but it must be chosen from within. The most profound way to help another person is to love them, see them, and trust them enough to let them walk their own path, even when it diverges from the one we would choose for them. The most powerful way the perceiver inspires change is not through their words, but through their actions. They lead by example. They understand that if they're going to talk about integrity, they must live with integrity. If they're going to encourage others to heal their past, they must be committed to their own healing journey. They cannot ask someone to be brave and vulnerable if they are not willing to be brave and vulnerable themselves. Their life becomes a living, breathing demonstration of their values. This is what walking the talk truly means. It's about embodying the very change they wish to see in the world. This commitment to personal practice is not easy. It means the perceiver must be willing to apply their own perceptive gifts to themselves. They must be willing to look in the mirror and see their own flaws, their own inconsistencies, and their own areas for growth. This requires a deep level of self-awareness and humility. It means admitting when they are wrong, apologizing when they make a mistake, and constantly striving to be a better version of themselves. They're not perfect, and they don't pretend to be. In fact, it is their willingness to embrace their own imperfection that makes them so relatable and inspiring. When others see the perceiver living this way, it creates a powerful invitation. It is not a lecture or a demand. It is a quiet, compelling example. When colleagues see a perceiver leader take responsibility for a team's failure instead of blaming others, it creates a culture of psychological safety. When a friend sees a perceiver set a healthy boundary with kindness and firmness, it gives them the courage to do the same. When children see a parent apologize sincerely after losing their temper, they learn that relationships can be repaired and that it's okay to be human. The perceiver's actions speak louder than any advice they could ever give. This is where true influence lies. It is not in having all the answers or in being perfect. It is in the honest, daily effort to live in alignment with what we believe. The perceiver shows us that leadership is not about a title or a position. It is about how we live our lives. They inspire us, not by telling us how to be, but by showing us what is possible. They become a beacon of hope, a testament to the fact that it is possible to live with courage, compassion, and integrity, one imperfect, intentional day at a time. Ultimately, the perceiver is a vision holder. They carry within them a clear and hopeful picture of what is possible for humanity. This is not a fuzzy, undefined wish for a better world. It is a specific, deeply felt vision. They see a world where people treat each other with more kindness. They envision communities where everyone belongs and has a voice. They imagine systems in education, healthcare, and government that are designed to nurture human potential rather than control it. They hold a high vision not just for society, but for each individual within it. They see the best, most whole, most courageous version of every person they meet. Holding this vision is an act of profound optimism and faith. It would be easy for the perceiver, who sees so clearly what is broken, to become cynical or despairing, and sometimes they do struggle with the weight of it all. But at their core, they are fueled by a belief in our collective capacity for growth. They hold on to the vision of a more compassionate world, even when the daily news suggests otherwise. This vision acts as their North Star, guiding all of their actions and giving them the strength to keep going when the work is hard. It is a source of resilience and hope. This vision is not something they keep to themselves. They share it not by preaching, but by living it. Every time they choose compassion over judgment, they are casting a vote for the world they want to create. Every time they speak truth to power with integrity, they are laying another brick in the foundation of a more just society. They invite us into this vision with them. They help us see the potential within ourselves and in the world around us. They awaken in us a longing for that better world and inspire us to take our own small steps toward making it a reality. The perceiver's greatest gift to the world may be this unwavering belief in our better angels. They remind us not to settle for the world as it is, but to constantly strive for the world as it could be. They hold a space for our collective healing and growth. They are the keepers of the flame of possibility, reminding us that a kinder, more balanced, and more whole world is not just a distant dream. It's a potential that lives within each of us, waiting to be brought to life through our own courageous and compassionate choices. The story of the perceiver is not just about a special type of person out there in the world. It is also a story about a part of ourselves that we can all choose to cultivate. Each of us has an inner perceiver. It is that quiet voice inside that knows when we are out of alignment with our values. It is the part of us that feels a pang of discomfort when we witness an injustice. It is our own innate capacity to see what needs healing, both in our own lives and in the world around us. The question is not whether we have this part, but whether we are willing to listen to it. Embracing our inner perceiver means having the courage to be honest with ourselves. It means being willing to look at our own patterns, our own fears, and our own complicity in systems that are not working. It requires us to get quiet enough to hear our own intuition and to develop the critical thinking skills to examine our lives with clarity. It is a call to integrate our own head and heart, to become both smarter and wiser. This is the inner work of becoming a more whole and authentic human being. It is a journey, not a destination, and it starts with the simple act of paying attention. When we awaken our own inner perceiver, we start to see the world with new eyes. We become more sensitive to the needs of those around us. We become less tolerant of dishonesty, both from others and from ourselves. We find the courage to have difficult conversations, to set boundaries, and to advocate for what we believe in. We start to lead by example in our own small corners of the world, in our families, our workplaces, and our communities. We stop waiting for someone else to fix things and realize that we have the power to be a force for positive change ourselves. Ultimately, the world needs more of us to embrace this archetype. It needs more people who are willing to see clearly, speak truthfully, and act with compassion. It needs more people who are committed to their own healing so they can help heal the world. The perceiver holds a vision for a world where everyone can reach their full potential. By embracing our own inner perceiver, we join them in holding that vision. We become active participants in creating a kinder, more just and more whole world, starting as all great change does, from within.